Israel says its forces have surrounded Khan Younis in southern Gaza, a city it believes has become a Hamas base for operations. The IDF says it has carried out an extensive operation and advanced deeper into the area, killing dozens of militants. The Palestinian Red Crescent reports Israeli troops blockading hospitals and raiding at least one of them. The IDF says ground forces are engaged in combat at close quarters. It has ordered residents in parts of the city centre to evacuate west towards a district bordering the Mediterranean coast. Many Gazans in Khan Younis have already been displaced from northern parts of the enclave. Israel has paid a heavy cost for its advances. 24 soldiers have been killed in Gaza, marking the IDF's deadliest day since its ground assault began in late October. Israeli officials say they are investigating a single incident that saw the deaths of 21 troops. The military believes a rocket-propelled grenade hit a tank near two buildings where the soldiers were located. The explosion is thought to have detonated the mines meant to demolish the buildings. Meanwhile, a senior White House official is expected to hold hostage release talks in Egypt and Qatar. This comes amid reports that Israel has proposed a pause in fighting of up to 2 months as part of a deal to release all remaining hostages in Gaza. CNN says Tel Aviv has offered a safe passage for Hamas senior leaders, allowing them to leave Gaza. And for more, Sarah Coates joins us live from Tel Aviv. Sarah, a potential new deal on hostage exchange with Hamas. Does that signal a change in the Israeli position?
Hello there, Wei-Su. Well, look, this report by Axios citing two senior Israeli officials, it doesn't include an agreement to actually end this war. It simply states that there will be a 2-month pause. And look, this is what we've been hearing from Hamas, that there will be no prisoner release, there will be no freeing of captives until there is a full ceasefire. I'll run you through a few of the details of this report. It would be a 3-phase batch of hostages being released. The first would be women and men over the age of 60. The second would be female soldiers and men of non-fighting age, while the final batch there would be male soldiers and also the bodies of hostages. Now, you mentioned, does this change the war going forward? Does this signal a change in Israel's approach? Well, the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, he is coming under intense pressure. We saw this yesterday in the Knesset, these family members of these hostages breaking in, engaging in a shouting match with lawmakers. And even today, a number of these recently released hostages, they've been meeting with Israeli lawmakers once again in Jerusalem, detailing what happened to them when they were inside captivity in the Strip, saying that anyone could be raped at any moment inside a Gaza tunnel. So this is certainly very worrying. And as we've been seeing right across Israel over the past few months, protests really only intensifying as people reiterate their call to bring these people home now.
Sarah, pressure, of course, coming from the hostage situation and possibly also from what's happening on the ground. Israeli troops suffering their biggest single-day death toll since late October. Does this signal, or does this put any more pressure on Tel Aviv?
Well, look, I'll tell you what we're hearing from the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. He says we will not stop fighting until absolute victory, saying that lessons must be learnt from this incident. And as you mentioned there, Wei-Su, it is the single deadliest incident since this ground operation began in October. 24 soldiers killed in the space of a day, 21 of those in one incident alone. Now, we have heard from the IDF spokesperson, Daniel Hagari. He says that troops were destroying Hamas sites as part of the army's efforts to create a buffer zone so these residents from southern communities down on the Gaza border could return home. He says that an RPG was then fired at a tank, which triggered another explosion, which was likely the result of mines being planted in these buildings by Israeli troops, which then caused 2 buildings to collapse on these soldiers, and as I said, killing 21 of those. So this will, of course, be investigated by the military. But as we speak, the IDF is advancing deeper, further south, down into the parts of the Gaza Strip there that were recently designated as safe zones for these people. The military says it's completely surrounded Khan Younis and has killed dozens of Hamas fighters overnight. But look, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, hundreds of civilians who've been caught up in this have been killed. And at this hour, we are hearing that Israel is now targeting the Palestinian Red Crescent emergency services who are trying to get to these people. So it certainly is a worrying situation, just given the sheer volume of people who've been pushed down south. Wei Su.
Oh, thanks. Sarah Coles reporting live from Tel Aviv.